Welcome back to another episode of STEM in Stilettos. Today we are crafting success and empowering women in the trades. Before we swing into that topic, though, today, I would like to invite you to get to know your own self a little bit better and what your particular leadership style is, and not just the style, but what the pitfalls are that come with that. Because a lot of times we take on habits so that we succeed better. But oftentimes these things also come with their own unique challenges that we might be blind to as we go into it. So give yourself 60 seconds to get the answer to where those blind spots are. You can take that at leadershippitfallquiz.com. That again is leadershippitfallquiz.com. Welcome our guest today, Alison Mullins. She is a dynamic leader in the construction materials industry. She's the recipient, the tongue is not working today. She is the recipient of With It's 2025 WOW Award for Sales Excellence and is known for her unmatched expertise on surfaces and global knowledge. As the founder of Rep Methods and ACCM, she empowers small trade businesses with tailored sales training and innovative marketing strategies designed specifically for the industry. A two-time best-selling author, Alison's influence and thought leadership extends far beyond her core expertise. As the exclusive sales consultant for Grassi Pietre SRL, a family-owned limestone quarrier and manufacturer in Vicenza, Italy, Alison brings over 20 years sales experience. Her work spans luxury, residential, commercial, and hospitality projects across North America, providing clients with invaluable insights into sourcing and utilizing the finest natural surfaces worldwide. Through her innovative businesses, Alison empowers trade professionals to excel in their fields while helping designers and architects master the complexities of working with natural stone. Her passion for craftsmanship, dedication to excellence, and commitment to empowering others sets her apart as an inspiring leader and mentor in the industry. Welcome, Alison. I'm so happy to have you here with me today.
Thank you. I'm so glad I didn't write that, but that is pretty good. That's a pretty good intro. Might need to trim it down a little bit for these, but thank you for the introduction. Thank you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. We like to toot horns around here because as women, so often we don't toot our own. So it's good when somebody can step up and play the music a little bit.
Yeah, thank you.
So tell us a little bit about how you got into the trades, first of all, and then subsequently how you found sales as your spot.
Sales came first, honestly. I mean,
Okay.
it's a cute story. I talk about it in my first classes and the first book I wrote. I think I started advertising and selling in the Mirror when I was a little girl. We had this big 1970s bathroom with that gorgeous old pink subway tile, if you remember, right? And it had this huge mirror along one entire wall and a nice little counter for me to do my hair every day. And I would get in that mirror with like something. I would grab a product from the shower behind me or under the sink, and I would just stand there and talk about it.
Practice your Vanna White moves.
Yeah, so I was like literally doing product knowledge sessions before I knew what that was.
You were like a QVC host in training.
That's right. I think deep down inside, I wanted to be one of those beautiful ladies on QVC. So that, really started young. And I did telemarketing and I worked at American Eagle Outfitters when I was in school. And oh my gosh, I just all kinds of JC Penney, I worked at the mall at least one summer. So whatever, just sales for me was like, whew, a shoe-in. The trades, however, really didn't come about until after college, and I did a stint in New York City. So I actually started in apparel, and I got my roots in global production very early on outside of school because, as you know, the apparel industry is, of course, rooted in mills and construction factories overseas. So that began my early career, and then I left the city, found myself in Virginia personal shopping, right? I was working in a boutique during that transition, so more sales. And then I found this job as a promoter. That's what they advertise it at. I found it on Craigslist. This was really early on. So
Alison said, that sounds like fun.
I know I don't want to tell like too much of the story, but that's how I found it. Is a promoter. Somebody wanted this promoter job, right? And I had no idea what that was. And it turned out to be a countertop manufacturer from Spain. So, long story short, by 2010, I was interviewing and getting a job in surfaces.
Very nice. And
Yes.
was it a little bit of a shock, the composition of the people that you
No.
found in the industry, or how was it?
No, I fell in head first, drank the Kool-Aid. Everything just seemed to make sense actually once I found outside selling. And that's really what it was. It was marketing slash sales position. You know, you're selling, but indirect selling because you're promoting a product. And it was merchandising. It was all the things that I knew about fashion, everything that I had already been trained to do, but somebody gave me the keys to go out on the street and like barge in on people's lives. And I
I am
thought,
here and you will deal with me.
yeah, and come in and fix their stuff and like dust and clean and reorganize and tell them how amazing this product was. It was everything that I had ever dreamed of, to be honest. And there's quite a lot of parallels between interior design and fashion. You know, when you talk about product in general, I think I was always dealing in soft goods, fabrics, and apparel pieces, piecemeal goods. But then when you're dealing with construction materials, you're just dealing with hard surfaces and the color transitions and the lots and the dyes. I mean, just honest to God, I had a degree in fashion merchandising and a minor in marketing. And this just felt like home to me, the
And it
industry
all just
immediately.
translated. Yeah,
It
I
really
love that.
did. It really, really did. It's amazing.
Isn't that something?
Mhm.
So, wow. I guess I kind of want to lean into the elephant in the room because a lot of entrepreneurs find the selling side of things challenging. What do you tell people in your courses and who are looking to like better themselves in this area where they don't necessarily, it doesn't feel like this lovely slip and slide?
Exactly. I mean, I'm getting ready to do a business of home workshop this week for that magazine, and it's an interior design community. And, you know, I think in our industry, entrepreneurs are any business over in the service. If you're a designer, if you're a trades provider, you're a small business. And 9 times out of 10, these people who start those businesses, they're really good at something. They came with a vision to bring their service to a community of some sort, but they don't know how to spread that message, and they don't quite know how to get out on the street and recruit, pull people in and sales in. They don't understand the marketing behind it, and it doesn't always have to mean tremendous amounts of dollars either. And I feel like that's one of my specialties, is finding the right audiences, finding the right fit for what that product or service is, networking, and sort of creating this little circle of business element co-op businessing. I mean, that's what groups like B&I were built on, right? So that you have everybody from a different piece of the puzzle. So I think entrepreneurs are really good at something, and they're not always good at the selling aspect.
Yes. Yes. So, what kind of brought you into sales training? You were having so much fun actually doing the thing.
Yeah.
Why suddenly go into training?
Well, I will tell you, like, listen, being in outside sales, and for me, it's literally been 15 years on the road. So, boots on the ground, territory managers, people who are account managers, people who are door knockers and service providers, who manufacturers, reps in general, we are in the car a lot of the time. And during COVID, for me, that ramped up to a degree where I was making a lot of money. I was making a lot of sales, but my body was like dying inside. I had to kind of, I hate to say it, find a way to transition. And at the same time, I was going through a mental health transition as well. I think deep down inside, I wanted to stop this sort of frenzying approach that I had developed within myself. So, you know, we all can get high on things, right? Like you get really
Yes.
excited about something and you want to get to the next sale. And I think, you know, I found myself not really doing things safely. Like even driving for me, I found myself eating Thai food, typing on a BlackBerry, you know, and
And
driving
driving with
at
your
the same
knees.
with my knees at the
Yes.
same time, you know, and I'm on a very heavy interstate, cringing and calling and thinking about who's the next. Da, 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 da. And I mean, it was very much a frenzy for me. So I had to attack like some workaholicism that I had developed, and I wanted to try to find a healthier life for myself, a healthier balance. At the same time, I always had customers begging me to train their salespeople. That was an ask that I encountered. I mean, literally every day you walk into a shop or you walk into something, they're like, can you find me a salesperson? Can you train them to be just like you? You know, you're the best. And I'm not trying to put my ego in this, but that's literally what I would hear on a regular basis. And
And
I,
just to kind of put
yeah.
a not too fine a point on it, this is always a sign of your brilliance. When people are asking you for something and going, I need that magic that you have. Can you put it in a jar? That's a sign that you have happened on to a brilliance.
Yeah.
And
Well,
yeah.
thank you. I think my training comes because I was always a sponge and I really learned from others around me. I listened, I paid attention, and I had a growth for knowledge that helped me be the best at what I was doing at the time. So I know I was good, but I also was unhealthy in the process. A lot of spiritual prayer for a long period of time, went on a little bit of a, oh, not a hiatus. What do you call them? Like a sabbatical.
Retreat or
Yeah,
yeah.
but
Uh-huh.
it was only like 7 days. It's not, you know, it's a vacation. Is what it was.
Exactly. Anyone else would call it a vacation.
Anybody else would call it a vacation, but for me, I never take time off. So like 7 whole days not working, that was a huge, that was a sabbatical for me. Yeah. Like other people, they do that for like a month. Like who has
Yeah,
time
yeah,
for
a
that?
sabbatical. I mean, if you talk to like professors, a sabbatical is like a year someplace else.
Yeah, okay. Well, 10 days was a really long time for me to not work. And I went down to an island and fellowshipped with some friends and community and prayed on it. And when I came back, it's really funny because I took one of Grant Cardone's like free 10X classes. And
Sure.
I, contrary to popular belief, just that action step made me write a business plan. I took the little quiz that he gave me, and it was just like, ah.
Oh, the angels sang. Yes.
I started writing, just writing and writing and writing. And, you know, that was in November of 2022. And I had some savings. I started putting some numbers together, and I was like, huh, I think I can actually do this. Like, I could do this. Wow.
Yeah.
Big step.
Big step, very big step. And a huge change in lifestyle, I
Yeah.
am quite certain. So, what were kind of the high points of your business plan?
Oh, absolutely. The high point is like for me, I knew, right? I thought I knew.
We all think we
We
know,
all think we know. I thought
Everybody
I
has a
knew.
plan until they get smacked in the face.
I thought I knew exactly what the product scope was going to look like. I had identified 3 products that I could sell, packages, and I thought I was going to have 15 customers knocking down my door like immediately, and then I thought I had at least a whole year of revenue, you know, pretty much lined up, and I thought I was going to make 6 figures like immediately.
Yeah. Well, that's why we do this, right? It's like, yes, I've got a plan. It should work. The numbers look amazing. Let's do this thing. And how did that actually work out?
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, in hindsight, everything always does work out. It's just not necessarily as you intended. So for me, it took me a lot longer to make my first online classes than I intended. The website was easy to build because that's one of my specialties. So I did all that. And it was a slower to get off the ground. And the people who I thought were going to come knocking down my door didn't support me at all.
Something.
Isn't it amazing? Yeah, the people who begged me to do this weren't willing to sign on the dotted line. And that was a very scary experience.
Yeah.
But I got to say that again, I kind of believe in spiritual divine intervention, but that allowed me the space that first summer. I wrote my first book. And so this time that I thought I was going to be commuting and boot camping with a couple of businesses in Washington, D.C. area, and I thought I was going to be making my first, 5-figure, 6-figure revenue. Didn't happen, but I did get the first book written. And at the same time, like God gave me a tenant to rent a room in my house. And
Yay.
I know. And all of a sudden it kind of became clear that, okay, you need to accept that you're in this for the long haul. Like that was a big message of the summer of 2023 for me was
Yeah.
long haul. Like be prepared to just commit to this and it's not going to happen the way that you think it is. And at
And
the
I'm
same
going to put a pin in this because we're up
okay.
on our first break already.
Oh my God.
But I love how you're approaching the modification of your expectations here.
Yeah.
Because that is like a key moment where people tend to go, oh my God, this shit's not working. What was I thinking? It's time to go back to the salt mines. So, yes, I love this, and we're going to pick it up after the break. What do we want to do for homework? Let us grab your pen, grab your piece of paper, and I'd like you to think back. This is an exercise in resourcefulness. Think back on a time in your life where things were not going at all the way you thought they were going to go, and then spend some time with how they actually went and what the gifts were that came out of that. Because a lot of times, what we think in our mind is the ideal optimal thing. Turns out in reality, there's something that's actually much better that will come out of that. But you got to empty your hands first. So spend a little time on that and hang with us. We'll be right back from the break.
Oh, check the loud, the wolf here. Tech is ours and we show no fear. No fear. No fear. No fear.
Thanks for hanging in with us through the break. This is Zofia Morales. I am still here with the amazing and wonderful Alison Mullins. And before the break, she was telling us how she had this amazing business plan and she went into the battle and got smacked in the face and went, holy crud, what are we going to do now? So tell us a little bit about, you mentioned that you wrote a book in that space. What were some of the other things that popped forward for you that were unanticipated but turned out to be perfect?
Yeah, it's a great transition. A couple of things. Number one, the book was a fantastic and phenomenal life-changing event. I really recommend, it's not for the faint of heart, but I really recommend that people explore that space. If you've got a story to tell, like you said, or, product offering, it's an amazing journey. But that also brought me to my old business, which is the ACCM that I've had since 2016. And it's always just kind of hung out here on the side. It was a contract based business.
What ACCM is? What does that
Yeah.
stand for?
It's abbreviated. So it's the business name is alfacolores.com. So it's a little bit of a tongue twister there, but it's color with an ES. So it's the Spanish or Italian version for color, Alfa Colores. And Alfa Colores Creative Marketing. So ACCM, for those of you who don't know, I'm trilingual, do speak Spanish and Italian, and I work with Italian suppliers for many, many years. And so I loved being able to incorporate multilingual nature into the name of the business. And it's always been a contract LLC, things that I can do, ad hoc marketing. That's it in a nutshell, ad hoc a la carte services. For a while back in the 2016, 17 range, I think I did a lot of the early social media mastery for a couple of companies. And so I got into that pretty early on, which was great. But that's one of the beautiful things with my transition, because one of them was I hired a brand coach, which for somebody who has a marketing degree and has as much Adobe certification and creative skills, and the moment I got into Canva, it was like I think I had 100 designs in a day, like one of these people that just like takes a natural tendency towards creative, right? To hire a brand coach was a huge humility moment for me.
I was going to say humility. It requires humility and the admission that perhaps there is still something to learn. And and that tends to be rewarding, although it's a little bitter pill at the start.
Definitely a bitter pill, but I found a company that had the mantra that I was looking for. She had a class online. I don't mind. Can I give her a plug? Is
Yeah,
that
sure,
okay, Zofia?
absolutely.
Yeah. So it's Katie White. And it's white, but it's spelled almost like right. But Katie White, you can find her on LinkedIn. She owns a company called Strong Brand Social. Strong Brand
Okay,
Social. And
nice.
she had at the time this class that she would do for like $50. It was very affordable. And excuse the cursing here, turn down your volume
Hey,
if you don't want to hear it.
well,
The
welcome to my world. I worked in a man's world. Cursing is part of like relating to guys.
the name of her class was Fuck the Algorithm. And
Love
if
it.
you know
That's my
me,
kind of class right there.
me too. She got me. I mean, I was like, again, even drinking Katie's Kool-Aid. I think she's an amazing teacher. I did a 6-month program with her company. People stay for a lot longer than that too, but it was exactly what I needed when I needed it. And she really helped me redefine and break down things that I didn't even know about branding. So I'm hoping to be able to pay that message forward through some of my clients as well. And brand strategy, target persona, unique value propositions, competitive advantages. I mean, she really took me to school. And at the same time, they helped me find an undercover product line that I had not considered. And that has turned out to be my biggest revenue producer thus far. So
Tell me what that undercover product line was.
she recognized that I should probably be a coach and I should really get into the online coaching space, which was scary at first because I was like, wait, do I need a certificate for this? Like, do I need another degree?
Qualification or yeah.
Like, do I just go like, bing, I'm a coach.
That's exactly how that works. Bing, I'm a coach.
And I was really nervous about it because here I want to be a sales trainer and I've written a book about the art of selling, but like the coaching thing, like that was a little bit unheard of, but at the same time, it clicked very fast. And within a matter of days, I had friends like sending me clients.
Well, and there's a difference, right? There's a difference between saying, oh, there's this sales class I want you to go take, which says you don't know enough about this shit.
Yes.
Whereas a coach is like, yes, we recognize that you have some skills and aptitudes and we want to take you to another level.
That's right. That's right. And then as I began to combine that fourth, so that was like element number 4 of product, right? Right. And I'm not necessarily considering the books, but I was selling seminars, workshops, boot camps, and now coaching, right? So that was my 4 binder. And I like things in round numbers of 3. So I was like, oh, what's number 4 gonna do? But
kind of, yeah.
But seminars and workshops kind of became under the same
umbrella.
One
thing, yes.
They are
maybe a different length.
Yeah. And so, honestly, between that and at the same time in August of 2023, my friend and owner of a quarry in Vicenza, Italy, had read my book. She bought my book over Amazon Italy, like super cool. And she called me and she said, she's known me for years. And she said, hey, I see what you're doing. I want to support you and I need some help also. Would you consider working with me? And this is great for your listeners because at first I was on such a straight and narrow rep methods path. I was like, no.
You're a different kind of client.
How can I do both? How can I diversify myself? How can I split the difference? How do I have enough time?
It's this unwritten rule in your brain.
It is an unwritten rule. And guess what, listeners? Here's the big secret. When you're your own boss, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
You can write your own rules. Yes, I like that. So how did you work out that agreement?
Yeah, so we worked on a contractual basis. She needs something that's a long-term business development anyway. And your people may not know, just to explain, and if you do know, I'm sorry if it's redundant, but in luxury architecture, whether it's commercial or residential, it's a long game process. When you go and you start attracting new clients, you got to be prepared to be rolling that ball for 2 to 3 years. And my magic formula is it's going to take 2 years to really close your first project in commercial sales. And luxury residential is in that same kind of ballpark because it's just such a long time from property acquisition to architectural plans to finding a builder to locating the right interior designer to
finally getting down to actual finishes,
building and finishes and actually ordering material. It's just it's a long game. So knowing that, I was like, okay, I see where you're going with this, but we got it on a part-time basis. So I do that with her on a part-time basis. I love Italian culture because they're not like Americans where they think like you have to work 40 hours a week for me, and you've got to like come in and check the box and check the clock. When you're partnered with someone who believes in work-life balance and believes in what you offer them, there really isn't a time clock. It's just you do what you're going to do what you're going to do, bring the work.
Well, and I see that shifting a little bit more in the online world where companies are, and I think it's a pragmatic thing. They're not looking to hire the full-time person necessarily, but they're doing more of a fractional thing. It's kind of a recent trend. It's like, I need somebody with that advanced skill set, but I can't afford to hire 100%, and nor do I need them 100% of the time. And so I think fractional teams are becoming much more trendy, and they're certainly a lot more practical than laying out, $250,000 on a CFO or a CEO or something like that. You can get a fractional one for a fraction of that price.
Yeah, billables. It's all about billable hours.
Yeah, and still get amazing results.
100%. And I think the space for being a consultant is so wide open today because there's a vast majority of skill sets that people need, especially when they have brick and mortar locations. And if you're a person who doesn't require a brick and mortar location and you offer a service that doesn't require a brick and mortar location, the ability to be a consultant today is maybe far greater than it was even 10 years ago. I'm not an expert in that, but I feel like I am a consultant in so many different areas. And then it's just really important that I invoice for that. I get paid.
Exactly. So, I mean, it's great to help, but it's much better when you get recompense so you can pay your own bills.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, I know you have a passion for workforce development. Talk to me a little bit about where that comes from.
Yes. Oh my gosh. It is a personal passion. So for me, it started in that first construction materials job. I was on a board for one of the local organizations here in town, and they asked us if we wanted to take this trip to Capitol Hill. Now, for those of your listeners who don't know, I am based in Virginia, so we're not too far from Washington, D.C.
It's a relatively easy commute.
It's an easy commute, but this group was going up and they were going to advocate for trade education and more funding into our school systems to offer better trade education and promote kids being able to choose a trade over college. And we got to go see Senator Mark Warner. I'm a big fan of his anyway, and he does amazing work. I hope he never retires. And that was, I think, back in around 2016, 2017. And that ignited a little bit of a passion in me because I had not connected the dots between my own childhood. I was born and raised in Appalachia and grew up in a family underneath the umbrella of the coal mining industry, where we were a union trade family who grandfather and grandmother did everything they could to put some kids through college. Some of them couldn't. Some of them had to go in the military to get there. Some of them never did go to college, became entrepreneurs. So all of a sudden for me at 20, 28, 29 years old, big spark went off about connecting the dots to even my own upbringing and childhood and humble roots of my family. So today I am extremely passionate about the trades. In 2022, I joined a community here in Richmond called National Association of Women in Construction. And they were putting on their first camp for called Camp Nawick. It's actually starts today. The third camp. It starts today, third annual camp. And we do a camp for girls ages 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. And we actually teach them and build something with them in construction.
I love that. Okay, I'm going to put a pin in this because guess what? We're up on another commercial break and we got to pay the bills. So I want to hear more about this camp because I think that is so amazing.
It is.
It's one of the things I find with women who go into heavily male-dominated things is that there's this uncertainty about, am I good enough? And there's this undercurrent message of, well, you're not smart enough, you're not strong enough, you're not whatever enough to hang with the boys. And I think building that confidence is not about telling them you are enough, it's about doing this shit. And so I want to hear more about that when we come back.
You got it.
During the break, I would love for you to spend a little time and think about the things that build your confidence in your career, in your chosen profession, in your industry. What are some of the things that have built your confidence in your competence? Because a lot of times as women, we go into this going, well, just treat me right and pay me appropriately. And I don't care if you respect me. But the truth of the matter is you need to be confident and respected before they will do those things. And so sometimes we need to flip it on its head. So spend a little time on the things that build your confidence in your competence. Nice. And hang with us. We'll be right back from the break.
Oh, shout it loud, the world here. Tech is ours and we show no fear. No fear. No fear. No fear.
Thanks for hanging in with us through the break. This is Zofia Morales, and I am here with the amazing and wonderful Alison Mullins, who before the break was telling us about Camp Nawick and some of the projects that they do with the women, girls, young ladies, to help to get them into the trades, get them established and build that confidence. So tell us more about the camp and where we can find out more about it.
Absolutely. Yes. So for me, it was like another divine intervention. I just stumbled upon this local chapter 141 here in Richmond, Virginia, and showed up at an event. Like my first event was this April, May thing. Bottom line is they talked about doing this camp, and Henrico County continuing education director was up on stage talking about this camp, and I jumped all in like last minute in the first year.
And remind me what NAWIC stands for.
Oh yeah, NAWIC is the National Association of Women in Construction. It's the oldest women's organization in construction in the world. It's been around since the 50s, believe it or not, but it's kind of like a secret society. Their marketing hasn't always been so prevalent. So they're starting to gain a lot more traction. Today, I know my local chapter, since that first camp, we had quite an increase in membership. We also got a membership committee to help recruit and retain some women from the local chapters, but wonderful, amazing group of ladies who work in various roles, from back of the house to project managers to engineers to truck drivers to salespeople, just any. And I wasn't even sure I belonged, Zofia. Can you believe that? Like when I didn't even think I was good enough to join.
You know what? I can believe it because one of the things I've observed with women is we unlike the guys, tend to want to be 100% match for match of what they're looking for, whether it's applying for a job or going sitting on a board or teaching a class. We think we need to have 100% of what they're looking for. And the guys, let me tell you a secret, 50%. If they match 50%, they go for it.
Unbelievable.
Okay, so if you think you might be kind of close to qualified, you are significantly more qualified than the guy who's going to go for it.
Unbelievable. I didn't know that statistic. That's incredible.
Isn't that something?
So here I've been in the stone and surfaces industry for many, many years at this point, worked all over the world for lots of things. Anyway, and I didn't think I belonged, but I found them. I got involved with that first camp, and it was the most moving week of my life. I went every day for at least half a day and volunteered, and I just can't even begin to tell you the joy. A couple of the campers actually connected with me on Instagram and have stayed connected with me. We've had repeat campers. Last year, I ended up being the half-day director, so I was sort of like a vice chair, if you will. So we had like 2 vice chairs, and so I was at every day being a camp mama and running the show in the afternoons. And oh my, it's really just changed my life. So then today, I am starting my own workforce development sector within the sales world.
Ooh, you go. Yes.
Divine intervention.
I want to hear more about that. But before we go there, how often do they have Camp Nawick?
It's once a year, and it's not every chapter yet. I will say, like, my chapter does it every year in July. It's this week, July 14th is the first day this year. So it's usually third week in July for us, but every state has multiple chapters of NAWIC, so you can check with your local chapter and see if they offer a camp close to you. But I will say that national is in process. We have a national convention. It's actually coming up August 3rd in Boston, Massachusetts. So listen, if you're listening to this and you get a chance to stop by the national convention, you can talk about camp in your local area, because they are trying to do a cookie cutter model, right? So a template.
Yeah, you can just clone it to your area.
And every chapter can do some form of participation in a camp-like atmosphere.
What else can we find at NAWIC if we're not, a sweet young thing who's just getting started? Is there still something for us?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. I think the age range of my chapter members is from, young 20s or the early people all the way up to, we still have women who attend every meeting in their 70s. Even post-retirement, we have members who still come back to meetings. The fellowship that is there, it's also incredibly structured. And one thing I'll tell you, Zofia, I don't know if you've noticed, but I volunteer a lot.
Yes.
And I've been on a lot of committees.
Which also tends to build a lot of influence.
Well, it gave me a good bit of experience, we'll say that. And I was even president of a local kitchen and bath association chapter for many years. And I got to tell you, from the moment I stepped on that committee with Camp NAWIC, that was a group of women who get shit done, period.
Love that.
So one of the things that you can expect is a bunch of doers, not a bunch of talkers. And people who really, really want to build a thriving, welcoming, and encouraging environment for any woman in construction.
Absolutely love that. So now that we've wrapped up NAWIC, let's shift back to your initiative. Tell us more about that.
Well, it'll be my first one this fall. I'm very excited about it. But sales, as you know, is the untold art. There are some of us who are born with the gift, like myself. I'm happy to say I've had it whole life.
Blood of a successful business. If you don't have sales, you are dead in the water.
That's right. But you don't need a college degree for it.
Which is a beautiful thing. And one of the few places where without a degree, you can write your own ticket.
Write your own ticket. You absolutely can. If you find something, a sector, anything that you're passionate about, if you love it and you show it, you're in sales. I mean, that's the way it goes. So I wanted to try to get my own version of a trade education available on sales training and some of the marketing. Now, yeah, I have a minor in marketing. Do I use a lot of it? The only thing I remember from my marketing degree was about branding and the Kleenex versus the tissue.
Ah,
And
yes.
marketing has changed, ladies and gentlemen, in the last 30 years, if you haven't noticed.
Been a
So,
little bit of evolution.
little bit of evolution. So there are some basics you need to learn, but I also believe that you don't necessarily have to have a college degree to do the sales-esque marketing that is required. And in owning a business, being an entrepreneur, being an author, being a small business, being in an industry. And therefore, I have created my first sales training event here in Richmond, Virginia, in partnership with one of the county school systems.
Oh, nice.
And we are in construction materials, very much hurting for labor and workforce. It's a dried out, what's the word I'm looking for? There's just not a lot of people coming into stone sales and fabrication.
Yeah,
People have to
it's
kind
a
of
shallow
shallow
of
pool.
applicants.
Thank
Yes.
Thank you for helping me find my
Which,
words.
which is good though, because it improves your odds of getting selected.
Lots of jobs available, very limited talent pool. Yes. So I'm going to do my part in offering biannual seminar workshops for a relatively low cost. It's a sponsorship based event. So sponsorship companies can send their employees, and then they'll also volunteer to host an intern in sales and showroom sales, marketing sales. Hopefully, I might even get on the back end of the shop and the trade aspect, but we're going to grow a little bit more. But the first one's going to be this September here in Virginia. I'm hoping to have 20 local students, and my goal is to have 15 named sponsorship companies and place 15 to 20 interns in our trades.
Very good. So if one is interested in sponsoring, or if one is interested in attending, how best to reach you?
Sure. I've created an event page through my repmethods.com website. I'm sure Zofia can put a link for that.
It will be in the show notes. You bet.
In the show notes. And there's a page right there called Order Maker 2025. That is the sales summit. So I believe in making order makers, not order takers.
Very good. Make it rain, girl.
Yeah, we want to, I know, right? I love that rainmaker saying, but order makers, I make order makers. So Order Maker 2025, you can find all of the proposed internship positions, the daily package for workshop A, workshop B, morning and afternoon sessions, and very low ask and sponsorship requests. And we're just trying to cover our costs for the event space and the food and beverage and materials.
I love that. That sounds amazing. What is your vision for the impact that this will have in the local community?
My goal would be that out of the 20 students that we could place in internships, that we really start to develop a pool of new bodies,
New talent,
bodies
yeah.
to be able, new talent to be able to work in the workforce. But my other goal is that some of the businesses who haven't necessarily given me their faith and their dollars just yet, that this is an opportunity for them to buy into sales training for their employees and to really see the value in what I'm bringing to not only the community, but into their small business opportunities as well.
And
so
to
normally
dip their toe in the pool in a conservative way.
Yes. I mean, my workshops, they're not terribly expensive, but sometimes they're a bigger ticket for small businesses to buy into. And this is an opportunity for people to buy in at a much, much lower cost value.
Love that. That is amazing. So we're down to our last couple of minutes here, and I'd like to really zoom back out and tap into some of your wisdom. What do you have to tell women who are thinking, you know what? I've been struggling, for example, in this trade situation. what words of encouragement or wisdom do you have? What should be their next step if they feel like they've kind of been struggling and not being able to figure it out?
First and foremost, find a mentorship program in existence, because we are there. We are out there. I'm the chairperson for the Women in Floor Coverings industry, so we call it Wi-Fi mentorship program. Also, our Women in Stone, we have from the Natural Stone Institute a fully funded mentorship program. And if you can't find one of those, just ask someone, and don't be afraid to be a mentor for you. And what does that mean? You can design your own mentorship program. We meet 6 times a year for about an hour. It's a phone call, doesn't have to be a big deal. And during that process, we ask our mentees to come to us with situations and questions that they have. And my God, it is a miraculous thing to just talk to someone else who lives and breathes the same troubles that you do, or has been there, or has that experience to share. Because when we share with each other, oh my God, it takes the fear away. It takes the catastrophe away.
It
And
takes
you're
the
not
shame
alone.
away, right? Because that is one of the tools that the patriarchy will use. It's like, well, what's wrong with you that you, yeah, no judgment here.
No,
Nothing wrong with you at all.
nothing wrong with you at all. And, I fully believe that in life, if you can just find that one character asset, whether it's in your personal life or your professional life, with someone that you can trust, that you can really, really just sit down and have coffee and talk with for an hour and lay it all out on the table. It's free therapy.
That fits in my budget.
It fits in anybody's budget, right? These things don't have to cost so many dollars. And like, what's so great about therapy anyway? Because you're talking to somebody who doesn't even live and breathe what you do. Like when you work with, find somebody, that's what LinkedIn is for. Find somebody who looks just like you, match for match, and say, hey, can we be friends?
Yeah, let's connect.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that. Thank you so much for coming and sharing with us today. I so appreciate your time and your wisdom. I know you've been extremely busy, and I'm so grateful that you shoehorned this into your schedule.
Same, same. Thank you very much. And I hope your listeners enjoy learning more. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much for joining us today. If you want to learn more about Alison, what she's doing, NAWAC, and some of these other resources that she's mentioned, we will be putting those in the show notes. Just go ahead and dig through there for whatever tickles your fancy. And until next time, go out there, be bold, be beautiful, and be you.